Hi, it's Robin. I've got here the roaming Speccy that's been traveling the world and will eventually be sold for charity. And while I've got it here, I just want to do a big gaming on it and check out some of the things that were included with it. If you haven't watched my previous video or the YouTube playlist, all the videos that have featured this exact computer that's been traveling from the UK to the US, now here in Canada, and I think it's going to Australia next. So watch some of those videos if you want more context and to follow the adventures of this computer. So growing up in Canada, I did not have a ZX Spectrum. I did have a Timex Sinclair 1000, which was its little brother. But that was not much of a gaming computer. The ZX Spectrum improved with color, superior graphics to the original for sure. It had a huge software base, and I want to play a couple of the most famous games for it. A previous custodian had made and included this Dandanator Mini, which is some kind of cartridge here. So I'm just going to plug that in gently back here. Ooh, that's a fit. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, here's the title screen, ZX Dandanator. So there's 10 games on that screen. And 3 more, 13 games in total. I think you can optionally get some sort of SD card reader for this as well. But this is a good collection of classic games. Of all these, probably Manic Miner is the most famous. Let's start it up. So the music's actually coming through an internal speaker. I guess I'm not certain it's supposed to sound like that, but hey, this is Manic Miner starring Miner Willy, and let's see if a Canadian who grew up with a C64 can play this at all. Okay, press enter to start, and I think it's Q and W, and the bottom row to jump, I'll use M. Okay, and I think the goal is to get down that bottom right is like a door, but you have to open all the, or collect all the keys first. Oh! You have to collect all the keys first. And if you die, you start the whole level over again. I don't know how loud that kind of music will be. There we go. I think I played this on the C64. There's times where, you know, the most popular game on one platform really isn't that big of a deal when it gets ported to another platform. I think this is one of those. Oh, I think this is one of those cases. I guess that's music. Oh. Those flashing keys. Oh. I guess I could be playing with a joystick, but I wanted to do the authentic, you know, old school controls here. There's a joystick interface on here. But yeah, the original Spectrum did not have joystick ports. You know, the stock Spectrum did not have, oh yeah, did not have a power button, a power switch. Oh, blow that. Oh no! Oh good. I'm not doing this optimally, I think. Oh, that's like a conveyor belt now. If I jump here, I bet I'm going to jump past. I'm probably doomed here. Can I get out of this? Now if I can make this jump. Oh! I don't think this is how you're supposed to solve this level. Oh. I keep falling through that. Try to jump off of it. I should just give it up, eh? Oh! I did it! Oh, yeah! Woo! Level 3. Can't jump up there. Oh. 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 Game over. A big Monty Python style foot comes down. Wow. Manic Miner. Okay. And the sequel to that is Jetset Willy. Okay, now Matthew Desmond had created this cartridge, the Speccy ROM+Diag M. Desmond. So I'll put links in the video description to Matt's website here. So I think this can do multiple things, eh? I guess I should have looked up documentation on it. But anyway, I mainly want to try the game. So I think it has a bunch of games on it that can be chosen from these two dials. And then also it will check voltages and whatever else. So there's like a breakout here for everything available on, if it's called the expansion port or whatever. Pretty neat. All right, so let's try plugging this in. I've noticed all these cartridges, it's a tight fit. I think that's completely in though. Doesn't go, oh, nope, it's jumping out. There we go. Tricky. Okay, let's give this a try. There we go. Made into ROM by Jimmy in 2023, packed using ZX Jetset Willy. Game options, turbo, setup, poke menu. My understanding that this is like a modded version of the game. Kind of like these kind of cartridges for the Spectrum are a fairly new thing. You know, like Commodore machines, well, the Atari probably started it as far as computers with cartridges go. And then Commodore continued that on with the VIC-20 and Commodore 64, where cartridge games were pretty common, at least in the early years. Again, I'm fairly ignorant about the Spectrum, but my understanding is that basically everything was just on tape, and cartridges were, if not non-existent, they were at least very rare. This is probably a new trend. Well, I mean, if Jetset Willy, one of the most famous games, was just converted to ROM in 2023, it seems like this is probably a new thing. Okay, so anyway, let's try this. This is the sequel to Manic Miner. So let's try R for run. Press fire to start. Okay, here we go. So I think it's the same controls. Yep, Z and X. There's a tap. There, I collected one item. And this is a lot like Manic Miner in a way. Makes it look like the toilet lid there is generating the music. But the difference here is instead of completing each level, it's kind of like an open, sort of an open world. Very similar main character, same fairly smooth animation. Remember, there's no sprites on this computer, so everything's just generated using the character set. Okay, the master bedroom. Yeah, I think I played this on the 64 too. I guess that's the missus there. And you are not entering the bedroom while she's there. I think you die if... Oh, yeah. I guess your wife kills you if you try to go to bed. Oh, what's going to happen here? Is that guy going to come? Okay, so I think you can actually go down that hole, but we'll do that later. And we can go up here. So that's a dead end down here. Ooh, that was close. All right, I picked up another item. I guess we'll go down that hole next there. How far is that guy? Okay. Down we go. Is that like church over there? It's a big flashing cross. The nightmare room. I remember this. You turn into a pig for whatever reason, and there's all, yes, your wife and a big stomping foot, and you're a flying pig. Oh. This is tough. Oh, oh. I don't even know if I can do that. I think I'm going back to church. It's like, I think if you jump through the stairs, there we go. This is tough. Oh. It's going to kill me if I... Oh, the timing of it. Oh, I made it. It is the chapel. Oh, no! How do we time that? Oh. It's like I go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, I gotta do that jump through There we go. Presumably I won't die if I go down that hole. Aha, the Ballroom West. Can I jump up this thing? Yeah. Oh. Okay. So I won't go that way. Nope. There he goes. So what is this place? Is this where he lives? Oh, arrows. Whoa. Is the arrow going to reoccur? The front door. At least he has a big, generous jump. Ballroom West. Are those all collectible things there? There's like a ton of bottles or something. Yeah, that spider, that looks like it's going to kill me because it's not. Doesn't look like a pickup. Oh, I lost 2. How do you do that? Oh, too late. Oh. All right, Penrose Triangle behind Jetset Willy there. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, so another relevant thing. In the distant past, I've shown some issues of FreezeZX. Actually, in one of the early issues, I was actually featured, like in the back pages or something. Is that still? I guess that's not still a thing. Somebody's collection or whatever. Anyway, so this is FreezeZX, a long-running issue. What I have issues 75 and 76 here. Very good fan-made magazine by Vinny. So if you're into the Commodore 64, absolutely check out this little magazine. It's got all kinds of good information about game development and like interviews and just, you know, great stuff if you're into both gaming, but also with a nice focus on programmers and the development and so on. Okay, but I mentioned that because this is issue number 1 of FreezeZX. Now, even knowing I was going to be hosting this ZX Spectrum, I got the first issue just because I was curious. So it included a neat little kind of bookmark here. Jetset Steamboat Willy. FreezeZX Cheat Card Collection number 1. Yeah, Jetset Steamboat Willy. Which, if you look at the screenshots here, it's basically combining Jetset Willy that we were just playing and Steamboat Willy, the original incarnation of Mickey Mouse, which went public domain not all that long ago, and kind of combining them together. So it's kind of like an official Mickey Mouse game. Anyway, an article all about the development of it. Sinclair User Magazine's worst rated Spectrum games of all time. Guess I could play some of those sometime. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to draw your attention to that. Of course, I'm not going to give away the whole magazine. Dave Sloan in the Developer's Den. So again, if you are interested in games with a development slant for the ZX or the 64, That was with that. Sometimes there's extra bonus cards included with the Freeze as well. Definitely check these out and consider subscribing and supporting Vinny because he does an amazing job with this magazine. And it's Robin from the future, just making you aware of another ZX Spectrum gaming magazine called BreakSpace. There's 2 issues available now, and they're both free for download. I'll link in the description. And the second issue has 38 games reviewed. So I'm amazed that there's this many ZX Spectrum games coming out. It's almost like it's as popular as the Commodore 64. You can see in the index all the titles of the games and just all the information and everything else that's contained in this magazine. Here's a couple of the game reviews. And patron and frequent contributor to the channel, Sean Bebbington, actually writes for this magazine, so he made me aware of it. But it's all volunteer and, like I said, free to download. In addition to games, there's even this type-in magazine listing. Actually, I think there's a couple listings in this second issue. It just looks like a very fun magazine, so I totally recommend you check it out. BreakSpace. And the one other thing I want to do with game playing here is that over the years I've collected, even though I didn't have a Spectrum for most of this time, I end up with a small collection of ZX Spectrum software, and I want to try and get at least one of these games to load from actual cassette here. Okay, so the games I have are Tranz Am by Ultimate Play the Game, and I think all but one, well, we'll deal with that one separately. All these games are what I consider car battling games, kind of vehicular combat on the Spectrum. I've mentioned occasionally that this is like my favorite genre of game. This is about 10 years ago that an official Mad Max game came out, and of course there was an NES Mad Max that was actually a reskin of this Motor Massacre. It was also known as Road Raiders in other countries. Was available not only for the Spectrum, but the C64, the Amiga, many others. This game basically got reskinned as the official Mad Max game for the NES. And then in recent times, I've got Mad Max for my Xbox and so on. And there's been hundreds of games in this genre. But what I especially like are those that aren't just pure car combat, but they have a bit of a story, they have some exploration, and so on. So those are the best of those games. So I got this for the Spectrum. I just picked that one up, Motor Massacre. This one's called Fury by, I think it's Martech. Yeah. Okay, and this is one of the exclusives, Battle Cars. And I think it only came out for Spectrum by Games Workshop. I've shown that art before. I did a video about the 2 Steve Jacksons. There's a UK one and a US one, and both of them worked on role-playing games, and there's a number of crossovers. I did a whole video about that. It was very unpopular, but anyway, I had a lot of fun making that one. So I think this one's a Spectrum exclusive, where it's their Battle Cars game, which is also like a tabletop game, which is kind of like Car Wars. In the US, there was Car Wars and Auto Duel by Steve Jackson, and then Games Workshop by Steve Jackson UK is a very similar game, and it got an official Spectrum port, and I don't think any others. Okay, so there's that, but maybe even more interesting to me is this Tranz Am, that while I suppose it's not really a car battling game, there's cars trying to smash into you, but it is definitely a post-apocalyptic world, and this is by Ultimate Play the Game, or Ultimate, then became Rare. And then I think Microsoft bought them for like, $1 bazillion or whatever. And I don't know if this was their first game, but a very early game by them. And this one has a lot of appeal to me. So you know what? And because I think this is a shorter game, it will work on a 16K Sinclair. I think it might load faster too and give it a better chance of working. So let's try this one first. If it doesn't work, then I'll get desperate and try some of the other ones. This Shakin' Stevens, this is a music album, The Bop Won't Stop, includes free shaky Computer game program for Sinclair ZX Spectrum 48K. See inside for details. Maybe I'll try that another time. I have a feeling I can cover the Spectrum more in the future. Okay. So what we have to do is plug in on the back here the ear, 3.5mm cable in there. And I've got my trusty Aquarius tape deck from the failed Mattel Electronics Aquarius computer, the data recorder for it. I've shown this in other videos. And likewise, we will use the ear jack on that. How messy is this getting? Bunch of cables. Can I fit this all in frame? There we go. Still got room for Commodore security. Okay, so let's try this. Here's the actual tape. Always good to make sure with these old tapes. Just make sure that little guy is there. Well, it's kind of dried out, but it's staying on, so I think it'll work. You just don't want that to get loose or fall off. Okay, and to load from tape here, we press load, and then you have to type double quotes. C64 from tape, you can just hit shift stop, which is the run key. So it's 1 or 2 keystrokes, depending on how you count it. Okay, load quote quote, and that just means load the next file. Enter. And then we'll press play. And we will hope, okay. Border flashed. Well, that looks promising. We'll look at the inlay while it hopefully loads here. Oh, yeah. Good. Yay! Program Tranz Am. Okay. Yay! Tranz Am is loading. Please wait. I've never loaded from tape before on the Speccy. Here's the inlay. Bytes TSP. Oh, it looks like it's loading some title screen. Okay, made in England for the 16K or 48K RAM Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Here's the display. I think that's more colorful than the game itself. Time, miles, a map of the USA. Takes place in a post-apocalyptic USA, maybe next year. And that's the number of trophies you found and kind of a radar. I think that's your speed. From 0 to 4. Oh, look at the tail screen. It's always a little funny. Loading screens on tape are cool, but on the other hand, it spends all that time just to load the title screen to look at while the rest of the game loads. Why not just load the game, eh? Anyway, there's your gas, engine temperature, I think, number of cars, control panel. Yeah, it gives you all complete map showing the position of fuel station, towns, cities. Red racer shown by the flashing character. Local radar display. The position of cups and black turtle. So the goal, I think, is to find 8 cups. Speedometer. It's still going. Fuel gauge full. Oh yeah, it plays the audio of the tape through the internal speaker. Just kind of nice little status update there. The year is 3472. And all that remains of on Earth are the remnants of a once great continent, a barren land, a desolate place of sand, rocks, and boulders. But life adapts quickly and brings it with it a new age, a time ruled by cars and trophies, a land where petrol replaces gold and esteem is possession of the 8 great cups of ultimate. Oh, there, look, it loaded! 1983, 42 years old. Okay, so the keyboard controls, Z to turn anti-clockwise, X to turn clockwise, pretty standard. Brake using any key on the 2nd row and accelerator using any key on the 3rd row. I think they do these scans on different rows because of the way the key scan works, so that the keys can be pressed or detected independently. Look at that, guarantee, a 5-year unconditional guarantee. If this tape ever fails to load, it will be replaced totally free of charge. That's pretty good. Instructions on loading. Load is obtained by pressing the J key. The quote are obtained by pressing the symbol shift and P together. If it fails to load, feature, look at all the features. A pause button, a joystick option. I like how it's a feature to have fantastic sound effects. And cities, it's got boulders and rocks, trees, cacti, and cups. Made in England. Okay, here we go. This is my first time playing this game on a real Spectrum. I'm going to move the tape deck away a bit. Okay, so I want keyboard, and I want to start the game. There we go. On the red car. And there I am in the USA. Okay, there I think if you push the speed up too high, then your engine starts overheating. Okay, and if you see up on that map of the USA, oh, there's a radar, but also, oh, I think I bounced off the Canadian border there. Let me in. So what happened to Canada anyway? Oh, night driver. Let's immediately go to this night mode. Okay, so you got to really keep an eye on the radar, but you also got to watch the main map, because if you crash into those trees or anything, then or boulders, you also crash. Oh. Okay. Oh, I'm doing terribly. Yeah, let's go east for a change. Okay, there's some fuel. So I think up on the upper map, those dots, I'm the flashing dot, and things of interest are represented by other dots. There, okay, got some more fuel. Try to evade those guys. Okay, so aha. Oh. I'm already on my... That was terrible. Okay, I gotta do better than that. I gotta get at least one trophy. I'm not that much of a loser, am I? Couldn't even get one. Oh! I keep crashing. I keep driving into the USA sign there. Well, there, it turned into a tombstone. I guess it remembers all the places you've died. Well, there's a trophy. Oh. Yes, I got one. Okay, just 7 to go. Oh. I missed something back here. More fuel. That was Detroit. More fuel. New York. No trophies in New York, but there is gas. The USA sure has shrunk. Oh. Guess you start over in the middle. Oh. That was Wichita. I crashed into Wichita. Or the shrub outside of Wichita. There's no oil. Okay, so I guess the obstacle changes different regions. There's fuel. It's all oil rigs down here in the south. What do you call it? Like, oh. Oh. Game over. Well, I got one trophy. Okay. Well, I think you get the point. I do want to play this more, but I won't go on and on camera. I'm going to play it more after. All right, so I'm happy to finally have gotten to play some of these Spectrum games. And while I'm very glad I had a Commodore 64 growing up, you know what? I could have had a perfectly good time with one of these if I happened to live in Great Britain. Okay, so thank you to all the past and future custodians, and make sure you check out that playlist of the other adventures of the Traveling Speccy. Link in the video description, and links to Freeze64 and FreezeZX, and anything else I mentioned in this video. Thanks to my patrons for their support. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.